Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. This according to the Thelemic order of the Golden Dawn. At the very top of their emblem, ladies and gentlemen, is the symbol of the rose. There is now established in the world a new order of the Golden Dawn. It is a magical, religious, scientific order dedicated to the teachings of Aleister Crowley. The principal function of the new order is to assist in the initiation of aspirants into the magical life of Thelema. It is a magical order of the new aeon, wherein men and women, by the essential aids of science and religion, can participate in the great work of Thelema. The new order of the Golden Dawn is called in the Latin tongue Novus Ordo Aurora Aurea. It is also called the Order of the Thelemic Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn now embraces and upholds the law of Thelema and seeks to extend that law in the world to establish the new kingdom of Horus upon earth. The rising god of the new temple is Horus, the crowned and conquering child of the new aeon. Born from the past, aeons of Isis and Osiris, the old temple has been transformed into a new temple for our Lord Horus to indwell, that the great work of the new aeon may be accomplished in his name. Love is the law, love under will. So who were the Grail Guardians? The question is sometimes asked, is the existence of Grail Guardians mythical, or are they historical figures? This leads to the same debate on the nature of the Grail. Is it an object or symbol? There have been attempts to establish a lineage over the centuries, a succession of Grail keepers, an actual rather than a legendary family, a physical bloodline that matched the spiritual one. And for those of you who would like to pursue that, I suggest you read Holy Blood, Holy Grail by Lee Bygant and Lincoln. A path is traced from the time of the Crusades through the Merovingian dynasty to Mary Magdalene and to Jesus. The evidence is a bit tenuous, and the conclusions either tend to raise a few eyebrows or thrill others with the connections explored. Corroboration by other research is wanting, meaning non-existent, but we must keep an open mind about this as we take up another line of thought on the identity of the Grail Guardians. In this case, the lineage is not genetic or fictional, but mystical. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, where I tell you the path lies. There is no physical bloodline here, ladies and gentlemen, but an implication that the Grail King could only be a successor to the Melchizedek Christ lineage carried on, as we have seen, by Joseph of Arimathea into the future. Once the Melchizedek story and its implications entered into the consciousness of medieval man, it was represented not in the Grail romance, but in stone. One of the countless messages that the Cathedral of Chartres has passed on to posterity is the status of Melchizedek. It stands alongside the biblical and historical figures flanking the portals of the cathedral. He is there. He is there, holding a cup in which there is a smooth stone, as incorporating a double concept. The two symbols of chalice and precious stone, mentioned separately in the romances, were here united as if to permanently set the myth in a medium even more enduring than oral or written tradition. Forever are the two truths represented: the chalice as a source and maintainer of life, and the precious stone as the light of cosmic wisdom. And so we have found in the Melchizedek statue a point of meditation on the nature, on man's place in the universe. The Grail guardian here is the perfect man. Remember what I've taught you, ladies and gentlemen? He echoes it right here. And this is a highly degreed adept of the Rosicrucian order. Listen to me very carefully. The Grail guardian here is the perfect man, the priest king, the Christ king, a composite of Arthur and Merlin, a Hermes Trismegistos, one who has attained office by being of two worlds, having one foot in heaven and the other on earth, or living this life in a moment of time as if the two worlds were one. This is surely the concept of the Grail guardians in the imagery of Grail mythology, namely, to further the idea of celestial man. Every human being must be elevated through trial and initiation to the status of the priest king, the union of the spiritual and temporal, the representation of divinity in the manifested universe in all its glory. The lineage of this elite may be marked out at the ideal or archetypal level, but no one is excluded from attaining this ideal, since it requires individual will and effort in the first place, and then initiation into the highest degree of Grail chivalry. Now, in case you didn't understand what I just told you, it is the realization of the promise of Satan to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, that they were being held prisoner by an unjust, vindictive God in the bonds of ignorance, the chains of ignorance, and that they should eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The lineage of this elite may be marked out at the ideal or archetypal level, but no one is excluded from attaining this ideal, since it requires individual will and effort in the first place, and then initiation into the highest degree of Grail chivalry. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, as I have been teaching you for all these years, here is another confirmation from the mouth of a highly degreed member of the Fraternitas Rosicruciae, printed in the Rosicrucian Digest, Volume 74, Issue Number 2, 1996, the admission that their religion is the Luciferian philosophy, exactly as Albert Pike said himself in his book, Morals and Dogma, back in the 1800s, in the middle of the 1800s, when he wrote it. Man is the only creature ever given the ability to think or reason, that the collective mind of man is in fact the mind of God. And that man, through the use of his intellect and his good works, will become as gods and will not surely die. And they are feverishly working in laboratories to unlock the secret of aging, the genetic code of the human animal, in order that a perfect race of men may be created who will then live forever. How about that? If you don't believe me, if you live long enough, you're going to find out that I'm right.